My talk this year is very interesting because this talk started out from last year. Last year, if you were here, it's like, and actually one of the best talks I gave of that version last year was here at DefCamp. It's the one that I use when I tell people to look at the video. I refer them to the one from DefCamp because I really like that talk that I gave here. And it was about, and what my concept of for that talk was trying to explain to people how by even doing the basic things, you could still break in to a location, you could still break into a place that's supposed to be secure. That was my intent. The talk was called Breaking in Bad. I'm the one who doesn't knock. And it's like, and I thought, that's what I'm going to show them. Well, some people got that, and others were like, this is Jason just trying to say how about of a badass he is by breaking into all these places. And I was like, no, that's not what I was really going for. It's like I was trying to show you what you need to do. But then I look at it and it's like, yes, all I'm doing is talking about how awesome I was in breaking into places. So I was like, this year, screw it, I'm going to give a whole talk on nothing but my failures. This is a talk straight up, and these aren't cool failures like I accidentally broke into a bank in Beirut that didn't hire me. I literally robbed the wrong bank in September. That's an awesome fail because I'm not in jail and I didn't go to prison. So that's an awesome fail. We're not going to talk about fails like that. We're not going to talk about fails like, oh, I left an orange out and I discovered penicillin, or, oh, look, while I was stealing from Tesla, I created the light bulb. No, we're not going to talk about those kind of fails. We're going to talk about these are really bad things that I screwed up. Don't do these. And one of the things I like about it is because if you notice the title of the talk, it's from a lyrics from the song by Queen, We Are the Champions. Because even when you're trying to be a champion, you have to admit one important thing: bad mistakes. We've made a few, right? So let's go in. The only thing you need to know about me is I failed. I do blue team, I do red team, and sometimes I suck at both. It's like, that's what the talk. Anything else you need to know about me, you can ask me or you can Google. It's like, it's that simple. What we're going to go over are, I'm going to give you 2 examples and lessons I've learned from being on the blue team, which is the defensive side, being one of the defenders. And then I'm going to give you 2 fails that I did as a red teamer, and the offensive side. And then I'm going to give you 2 fails I've done in the community. It's like in the hacker community that I've screwed up at a conference or just wherever. So let's jump right into it. My first time in information security, like professionally for the job, was back in 2000. I'm old, okay? 10 years before that, I was doing physical security. And I'm really old. It's like I was doing physical security and law enforcement back then. It's like, and you know what happens when you deal with physical security and you're dealing with people, and especially like in law enforcement? You realize every day on your job, you're meeting people at the worst possible time in their life. Every day that you go to work, every person that you come in contact with is having a horrible time in their life. Either they're having a horrible time in their life and you show up, or you show up and now they're having the most horrible time in their life. Either way, it's horrible. It's not fun sometimes. I mean, I literally got out of it. Well, I technically got out of it because I got tired of getting shot at. But it's like, but I also got out of it because it was very depressing. I didn't like being part of that. So when I found out back in 2000 that you could do computers and security, I was like, awesome. I get to do 2 things that I love doing and no one shoots at me. But then now I do red teaming, so now I still have that possibility of getting shot at, so it's a vicious circle. But eventually though, it's still fun. I'm still enjoying it. But my first time doing it, I was horrible at it. Because I thought being in information security, I had the attitude of physical security. And everybody loves security guys, right? It's like, so I was like literally that guy. Every person that I'm talking to, fellow employees, were potential suspects or perpetrators trying to do something devious with their emails or surfing to the wrong websites or downloading the wrong malicious program that is against company policy. And more importantly, I worked for an international internet bank because it was before the dot-com bust, right? Sounded like a good idea at the time. It was an internet-only bank. So we had this one floor that was off limits unless you had a badge on. You had to only get it through badge. So the policy was everybody had to wear their badge. We don't need those sneaking badges. Yes, you do if you want to go to work. If you did not have your employee badge, then you know what you needed? You had to go to the receptionist and get a visitor's badge, and you had to wear that like a badge of shame the whole day. And so what would I do? Well, being the security guy, I patrolled. I would walk around every once in a while, like on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, and I just walk around like, how's it going? How you doing? What you looking at? Okay, cool. Got your badge? Okay, cool. Got your badge? Okay, cool. And then that's what I do. Well, one Monday, I walked by the CEO, the owner of the company, office. And I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, oh, I'm doing good, Jason. How you doing? Immediately, my spider sense started tingling. And I backed up a little bit like, I'm doing great. How are you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine. It was a great day. Just working. Like, how was your weekend? Oh, it was pretty good. You don't have your badge, do you? And I saw a grown man, CEO, millionaire go, no. And I'm like, come with me. And I took him down to the receptionist, and he had to wear a badge the whole day. Now that's really funny, and it was really funny. But that was a failing on me. That wasn't me being cool. I made the CEO. That was a CEO who believed in the security policy so much that he was willing to live by the rules that he stated. That was a kudos to him, not me. I was an a-hole. I was a jerk. I didn't do proper security for that company. All I did was teach employees how to try to circumvent security so they wouldn't have to deal with this guy. Because no one wanted to deal with this guy. I didn't teach them why security was valuable. I didn't teach them why they had to secure their systems. I just taught them that if you screwed up, you'd have to see me. No one wanted to see me, okay? I am so horrible at human interaction that I did, because I'm really good with social engineering, but human interaction sometimes really throws me off. I'm really way better with it online. And it's like, I was given a plaque like this for a birthday by the board of directors. I don't know if you know about Andy Griffith here in Romania, okay? But I promise you, that was an insult. Barney Fife was not the good representation of what I wanted to be. But that's how they saw me. They saw me as that guy, the bumbling idiot that couldn't be trusted except for, with one bullet in his pocket. I did not service that company well as an information security officer there, because I was too busy trying to teach it and act like I was a physical security officer. I did not get them involved in the process. I just made it an unpleasant thing that you didn't want to deal with. And that's a big problem, because this is what we need to do. This is in the Netherlands. Those police guys rock. They've got their own Instagram account, for gosh sakes, okay? It's like, they got pictures of them rescuing ducks and going around having a good old time with everybody. It's like a party over there. But that's what they do. So when people see them, it's not always the worst horrible time of their life. They actually see them when things are going right. They cultivate that relationship where it's like, I'm here to be part of the team to help you stay employed, to help you do your job so we can all be here working together and stay viable. That's what we need to start doing. You need to foster the image of being part of a solution. You're not looking for a problem. Meaning that I am not trying to just see if you're doing something wrong. I'm here to help secure you. I'm here to help keep you secure. I'm here to help be part of the team that we all work together. That's what you have to start driving toward. Not just the fact that, hey, I'm watching you, especially you right there. You're a little sketchy right there. I'm looking at a lot of people because one guy's like, what? He knows? It's like, so yeah. And you also empower the employees to get involved with what you do. Does your employees know Every single one of them, from the CEO to the mailroom, they are part of your information security program. That's their job responsibility. They are part of the information security team. They don't realize that because we're not telling them that. We're not informing them of that. But that's an important part of it. You have to let them know that they are part of the security team, and this is their responsibilities. And if you approach that to them on day one, guess what? They will be, because it's part of their job responsibilities. You're impacting directly how they feed and clothe their children. So they are going to do what is necessary to keep that job and keep employed. It's like when you go and you give a guy and you start someone to say, hey, I need you to work on this assembly plan, so you know, oh yeah, we hired you, you should know what you're doing. You train that person. You don't just let them go the first day and just go off and do what they're, you show them how they're supposed to be doing that, how they make the widgets, you know, how they process the widgets, how they advertise the widgets, how they manage the widgets. You teach them all the widgetry things that need to be done. Well, teach them also that it's their job responsibility to secure the widgets, and they will secure the widgets because it's part of their job. Now, the next fail was, I promise you, one of the most embarrassing fails I've ever done. I mean, it was like really horrible. And it was not, because I didn't just, see, sometimes it's like, you know, I like to do everything spectacularly. And that includes failing sometimes, it turns out, because I failed spectacularly on this one. I was having to deal with networking, you know, the network guys, you know. You know, the guys, you know, and sorry, is there any networking in here, people? Please don't raise your hand. I apologize in advance, okay? Oh, see, you already raised your hand, so now I know to target you, sorry. It's like, because it's like, we all know these networking guys, right? We got to make the network faster. We got to make the network faster. We got to speed it up. We got to increase the bandwidth. And security's like, no, hold on there. We need to slow it down. We need to inspect the packets. We need to see where it's going. And so there's always this butting of heads. It's like security and network hardly ever gets along. I mean, let's face it, it's mostly network's fault, but still, there's a problem with that. Okay, I've got issues, okay? I admit that right up front. It's like, so I had a problem with networking. It's like I would go over to the networking department when I needed them to check a firewall rule. I needed them to add something for the IDS signature, when they needed to do something for me, okay? Because I was security and I had to go deal with networking. So it wasn't what we'd call a friendly relationship at all. So, but it was functioning, and it worked because, you know, they had no choice. I mean, they needed to do it because we needed to stay secure, and I had to deal with it because, you know, I needed a network to put my security on. So one day, we had an alert. I was watching, I have a firewall monitor up on my cube that I watched like a soap opera, you know, it's like a little telenova. I was like constantly watching it. And then I started noticing this traffic. It was this telnet traffic that was being allowed from inside our network to other random servers or IP addresses in our network that I didn't know where they were going to. I mean, it's literally the worst case scenario. It's like getting that phone call and saying, the calls are coming from inside the house. You know, it's panic time, right? This is not a good experience. This is not a good feeling. So what do? Well, I go straight over to the networking guys, it's like networking department, and I talk to the supervisor, because why would I want to bother talking to the other guys, right? It's like, so I go and talk to the supervisor, like, look, this is what we're going on. I need you to check this out. I need to figure out, tell me where this is going. And so he goes and he says, yeah, that is an inside IP address, but they're hitting all our routers. And I'm like, oh no, incident. We got an incident. This is bad. I got to report this. We're having an incident now. Something's going on. My boss wasn't there that day. Yes, he's lived to regret that to this day. So my boss wasn't there, so who do I had to report to? Well, I had to go to my boss's boss, the CIO of the company. And I didn't go in there going, very free for a moment, we're having an incident, I need you to respond. No! I went to his door, to his office. He's like having a nice little working on it. Dude, we got an incident. I need you to come here with me. We need to go over, take a look at this. This is bad. Boom. So we went over there. Me and the CIO, we went over to the supervisor, network supervisor, like, you need to tell us what's going on. Tell them what's going on. This is, where are these coming from? What's going on? And we started working on it. About 5 minutes later, one of the networking guys, that's in the same area, raises his hand like we're in like elementary or something like. And I'm like, what? And he's like, could that be the service scan I'm doing from this Cisco managing product and stuff, to our routers? And I'm like, couldn't you have said that about 15 minutes earlier? And the CIO's looking at me like, couldn't you have waited about 15 minutes longer? And I'm like, yeah, I could. That was on me. I screwed up on so many different levels on that. It was like meta. It's like, I was a fail meme all at once right there. And one of the biggest problems was they didn't have to help me. Did they know what was going on? Probably. They're networking. They're soulless people. But still, sorry, guys. It's like, I'm sure you guys are different. They're not. It's like, it was a horrible. They probably knew what was going on. They wanted to do that at my expense. The reason, though, is because I let them, because I didn't give them any reason not to. I did not take care. I tried so hard to being good with the users, to making sure the users were part of the security. I never, applied that to the networking guys who knew they were actually part of the company as well and employees. It was a weird concept I had to start getting my head around. But I actually had to start understanding that they were actually part of the team too. I would literally, when I went over to networking, it was a hostile situation. I told my boss that I was heading over there, what my safe word was, and if I wasn't back in 30 minutes, I wanted black choppers coming getting me. It's like, but what I could start doing is actually listening to them, having communication and conversations with them before something happened. Actually just going over there and saying hello. How's it going? Because we got to understand something. They may be networking, unfortunately, we need them. It's like they may be networking, but they're still geeks, just like us. You may like Star Wars, they may like Star Trek, but everybody likes Babylon 5 and Firefly, right? So we always have common ground. There's always something that we can all talk to about. And if they're geeks just like you, they're broadcasting what they like because they've got the action figures and posters and stuff at their cube. So you know right there what they like. Start having conversations with them. Start actually involving yourself in what they're doing. Don't just be over there when you need something or when there's an issue that needs to be done. It's like you also have to develop communications before crisis. If I would have had a relationship with them before this actually happened, I would have actually known who to talk to, what actually they're working on. It turns out that the Department of Networking actually just doesn't mean network. You've got guys that are doing DNS and guys working on VPN and guys working on other networking related things that I don't care about. It's like, but they're all working on these other, know who is working on each area. So when you have an issue, when you have a security thing, you know who to talk to immediately. And the last thing, of course, is you search out all aspects of a situation, not just what you assume it to be. Because when you make assumptions, well, there's no umption. It's just you. So that's a problem. It's like, that's a problem. You need to actually work through it. You need to figure it out. So that was one of my biggest problems. So those are my two biggest blue team fails. It's like, and I'm really underselling exactly how horrible this last one was. It was pretty bad. It's like still networking's fault. But let's go to the next one. Let's go to the red team fail. I normally don't like having a convicted rapist in my slide deck unless I'm talking about privacy advocacy or IPv6. But this is a horrible, horrible statement that everybody loves to use. When I first got into red teaming, this is all I effing heard. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And I'm like, I literally started out red teaming thinking, oh, that's what I need to do. Hi, I'm here to do your red team. Where's your plan? Pay me. It doesn't work that way. I was surprised as you. People don't like getting punched in the face for some reason. Who knew? But I had very low self-esteem. So it's like, I still do. I still have problems with that. But it's like, I really thought that I had to destroy you to show you that I was good. To show you that I was worth the money. It wasn't going to be effective unless I utterly destroyed you like, you're done. Are you happy? Did I do good? I really screwed you up really bad. Awesome. Wait, why aren't you smiling? You did horrible. I thought you'd be happy about that. No? Oh, my bad. So yeah, that's how that started working. And I literally had an issue where we went, and I was with a team. I'm not going to talk about them because this is about my fail. And we had to deal with the guy for the client. And this guy was a horrible jerk. He was in networking, by the way, just FYI. And it's like, I just thought I'd mention that for no particular reason. And it's like, he was not really happy with us. It's like, I mean, it could have been the fact that I stole his laptop off his desk and the cable for his computer and one of the cookies on his plate. That may have been a problem. That may have been a contributing factor, okay? But he literally was not very pleasant to deal with in the best of times, okay? So a couple of members of our team, they were nice enough to get domain admin on the domain controller and download everybody's user IDs and all their password hashes and decrypt all their passwords for the last year or two. And so we were able to look at his user ID and all the passwords he's used in the last 2 years. And we noticed one important thing. He used the same word, but then he had numbers and stuff at the end of it. That's how he changed it around. It wasn't a common word, but I will tell you, it was a word that was common enough that we were able to use it in a conversation that we had with him, his boss's boss, and our boss, and all of us guys on the same conference call. We played the game of how many times could you fit this word into a conversation? The whole entire talk, the whole entire time. And trust me, we had to stretch. It was obvious we knew what his password was. He understood we knew what his password was. We knew right then at that moment exactly how pwned he was. Yay! We punched him hard. He really appreciated that. No, not really. Not even a little bit for some reason. It's like, you know what happened? We did nothing for them. We got domain admin. We got all the vulnerabilities. I walked out with at least 30 laptops on that engagement. I destroyed them. Did I help them? No. Here's another great slide. Like I said, still a jerk, but this is funny. I love this one. It's like, and I hate using this guy because this is the guy, remember, please, that after he got punched repeatedly in the face, he bit a guy's ear off. That was his plan, right? Okay, but still, everybody you fight is not your enemy, and everybody that helps you is not your friend, which is actually, remarkable coming from him. It's actually a true statement. I didn't help my client on that engagement. I showed them their vulnerabilities. I showed them where their flaws were. But I didn't help them because all that guy got out of it was that I was an a-hole. That's all he got. He didn't learn anything from that engagement except for that it was unpleasant and not nice and all the other adjectives that you use for not nice. Because we were not a solution for him. We became a problem for him that he had to deal with. That didn't make it effective for anybody. It's like also allies come in unlikely forms and from unlikely places, like networking, Because when you actually go into an engagement as a red team person and you talk to the networking people and you talk to the other people in the engagement and you go in there saying, look, I know you know a lot of these flaws. I know that you know there's vulnerabilities that I'm probably going to find. Do you know what I'm here for? I'm an advocate for you. I'm here to help you get those problems fixed by management. Management has brought me in here because they want to listen to my opinion on the vulnerabilities, the things that I'm going to find on this network. I'm not going to surprise you hardly with anything, okay? You're going to know these things, and you've been probably trying to get management to solve these issues. Let's do that together. You go in that way, and I've literally had a networking guy go up to me and say, we have a development server that I've been telling them they needed a firewall on for like the last 2 years. It's over here on this IP range. I'm just saying, if you go and look at that scan, I don't think they gave you that range there, but if you look right there, you'll find something. And I'm like, oh, good to know. That's a finding. They help you. You're now no longer an adversary. You're actually a partner with them trying to help. Because one of the things I hate about red teaming so much, okay, it's the reason why I don't do red teaming anymore, basically. It's like, I do security awareness engagement, it's a whole other thing. It's like, because red teaming, it's like, we gotta feel like we gotta destroy stuff. We gotta go in there and we gotta break everything down. And then we're done. If you just go in there and you break stuff and you leave, you help no one. Your job and your requirement in offensive security and red teaming and vulnerabilities is not to discover vulnerabilities. That's not your job. Your job is to help secure your client. If your client is after the engagement is not as secure or more secure than when you got there, you failed. If you go in the next year and you use the same vulnerability that you used the last year, you failed. It's not just me here. It's everybody. You have to understand that as a red team, as a person that's doing offensive security like that, trying to do vulnerabilities, your job is to make the client more secure. It's not to win. It's not to find the vulnerabilities. It's not to freaking punch them in the face. It's to help them be better secure. That's why they called you in. Now the next one changed my life. Out of all the fails that I've done, and I've done a lot, it's like, this is one of the better ones. Because this is where I stopped red teaming. This is where I stopped doing things the way that I was doing it, and I changed 180 degrees and do things something totally different now. I was doing an engagement for a client, and it was very secured. It was a very secured facility, and I was really happy because I was able to get a visitor's badge that said Gregory D. Evans, Oopsie Inc., and it had a picture of me going, which I thought was, lolsy. And so I had that on there. But even then, you still need to be escorted in because it was just a paper badge. It wasn't an actual RFID badge that I was up until the point of cloning yet. So I was waiting, hovering behind in this hallway area from this one door, waiting for someone to go through the glass door so I could walk in behind them. So I was doing that, and I came in, and and finally someone walks in, and she looks at me, and she gives me that look. It's the same look everybody gives me, like, who the f are you? Okay, whatever. And then walk in. And that's exactly what I did. I mean, it was like, she literally looked at the badge and was like, what? Okay. And I walked in behind her. She went right, I went left, immediately went into a person's office, and I was like, here, I'm with the IT department, we're looking for USB rights on the global policy, just need to plug this in real quick, thank you very much, right? Pwned them. I got it. I successfully compromised the company. I'm done. Yay, face punched, awesome. We're done. But me being greedy, it's like I went to another office, compromised another machine. Then I went to a third office for the lulz and compromised another machine. I'm doing pretty freaking good right now, right? I walk out of that third office, and there she is down the hallway. And she is looking concerned and upset, and she's talking to another employee. And they're looking at me, not in the friendliest of manners. Now, the door that I went into is right there in front of me. And I have a choice. I can go out that door. I was going to say run out the door. I wasn't going to run out, but I could go out that door very quickly and get away. And I won. Woohoo! Faces were punched. Success was had. Ice cream will be given, right? So that's great. But then a thought occurred to me. What if I let them win? What if I let her catch me? What would happen? So I didn't walk out. I walked forward. I walked down the hallway. I walked past her. I even said hi, how you doing? She didn't say hi back, which I thought was sort of rude. Okay. I mean, let's face it, she wasn't very friendly to me as I was saying hi, and I waved and everything. It's like, and I went to another office. And I plugged in, and I actually got that one successful, so I got 4 now, yay. About 3 minutes in, it's like talking to this lady and explaining to her what I was doing. This 6-foot-something Air Force guy, ex-Air Force military dude comes in, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, dude, I instantly regret this decision. It's like, and I'm scrambling for my get-out-of-jail-free card. He's like, no, call this. I'm not going to call him. I know who sent you. And I'm like, here's the number. Just don't hurt
hurt me. I'm fragile. I bruise easily, okay? And it's like, and so he called them, found out what was going on, and the report was done. It's like, I went over and compromised the whole of their building, top to floor, and everything was great. But my whole paradigm was shifted that day. I no longer do red team. I do security awareness engagements. That means for like usually a 3-day engagement, I will spend 2 days destroying you. Promise. I will find every way I can to steal from you, kill you, and destroy your building, and ruin you financially. I will do my best, utmost, to make sure those 3 things happen. I'm great at parties. It's fun. It's like, but on the 3rd day, I spend the whole day getting caught. I spend the whole day going to engagements where when I went the first 2 days, all confident, like, yeah, I need to be let into the server room. I need to check on USB drives. I would go, yeah, I need to get into the server room. The supervisor guy told me I was supposed to be able to get in here. Could you let me in, please? Okay. And you know what? For some reason, they found that suspicious, and they'll usually catch me on that. I've had to work at getting caught. Trust me. I was literally successfully compromised a bank. I was behind the teller line, sitting in a chair, twirling in it for 20 minutes, going, anytime now they'll catch me. Anytime they'll figure out I'm not supposed to be here. Yep, I'm not even in my country. This should be quick. Okay? I literally got to the point where I tapped the teller on the shoulder going, what's the user ID and password for the server? And it's literally, I'm sitting at a desk where there's a server underneath this desk. It's like a desktop computer that was doing bank business at the time. He gives me the user ID and password. And I'm like, awesome. It was the same as the server. I was sort of sad. My heart died a little bit. But I logged in. I did a graceful shutdown of that server in the middle of the day, doing business. Shut it down. I unplugged it. I picked that mother up, and I thought, maybe now they'll notice something. And guess what? When I got to the teller line and I'm about to go out the door, the guy goes, maybe I should ask that American what he's doing with our server. And so he gets up and he stops me and he goes, excuse me, what are you doing? And it's like, and I literally had to physically restrain myself because the top 5 things out of my head would have been something plausible enough that he would have let me go. And I'm like, no, I'm supposed to get caught. I'm supposed to get caught. I'm supposed to get caught. I'm supposed to get caught, okay? And so as soon as he says that, I go, oh, you got me. You're good. I'm a bad guy. I was trying to steal from you, but you were right there on me. You gave me the user ID and password, but you were just trying to make sure I was sketchy or not. That's a good job. What's your name? You're on the report for doing a great job of security. Good job. Good job. And I wrote it down. And that was good for the company. Because you know what I started doing when you do that? You give your employees something to look up to, not everything that they have to look down at. Because believe it or not, when you give it a target to win, it doesn't diminish your attack. It doesn't make you look bad if you let them have a win. You give them valuable lessons on what to emulate. Susie from accounting stopped this guy when he was trying to walk in behind her. That Susie from accounting, she's always trying to be Miss Goody Two-Shoes, right? It's like, but it gives them something to look at. Not a report 3 months later saying, these are all the ways that we were compromised, these are all the things that have happened. Now you have to do an extra 5 questions on that, yearly information security awareness test that you have to do on the internet where you click multiple choice, because that's helpful. So you give them something to look at. You give them something to go do. This is what we need to be. You need to be more like Susie, okay? Also, servers don't respond to attack with resentment. People do. In other words, you're dealing with humans no matter what. You like to think that you're in your, what did Trump say, mom's basement and stuff, hacking away, doing an engagement for a client and you broke into their server. Do you realize that there's people there that are responsible for those servers that are going to have to answer to those vulnerabilities that you find? That affects the human being on the other side of it. There's still going to be people involved in it. I mean, they may be network people, but still, they're people. Okay? They're still going to be responsible for that. So everything that you do impacts a human's life. Do your reports accordingly. And when you look at the blue team as a teammate and not an adversary, you both win. When I started getting the blue team involved in what I was doing and showing them there that I was not just there to punch them in the face, it was amazing how I was treated. It's like it was also probably amazing because of how I act. It's like when I acted better as an advocate instead of as an adversary, that's when the change started. So you have to learn these things. That's what has to happen. So those are my two red team ones. Now let's go into the community fails. And this one, hold on, I'm getting cold, sorry. There we go. Okay, so the next one was actually part of my talk last year as well. That's why I'm using this slide. When I gave out that talk last year, how many people did I mention that were with me when I did those engagements? Nope. It was the Jason Street show, right? It was about all the times that I broke in and I did this or did that. And I realized that was wrong. Someone actually called me out on it. It's like, it was last year, it's like someone called me out on it. It's like, you're right. I didn't give them excuses. Gave them an apology. When I broke into that place in Jamaica, the financial, Andrew Nook and Michael Allen helped me to do the research and recon on that engagement. I may have would have gone in there solo and did all the compromising, but I had help getting that ready and getting prepared for that. It's like Khalil and Yentz, when I'm doing the stuff in Beirut and I was working on a spearfishing campaign, and on one of those engagements, they're the ones that helped do the recon, helped get the web page up and get the beep server running. It's like when I was doing the one with the state treasury, it was Philippe and Adriel that actually was helping me with the networking side of it that pwned them so much that they requested a social engineering guy to come in and help them with it. Does that make my talk less? Because I gave credit to people who helped. There's a guy named Dave Kennedy. I don't know if you've heard of him, but if you've seen his talks, you can play the drinking game on all the credit he gives to people who have helped him during his talk. Well, this person helped with this tool, or this person came up with this thing, or I used this from this person. I don't leave his talk going, what an idiot, he needed all this help from all these people. I came out with more sources of information that I could go look at and other people I could learn from. It's one of the problems with our community. It's like, we come in and we like to go in and go like, yeah, this is what we did. I broke in here, this is what I did. Like, that's it. Like there was nothing else. There was no failures during that talk, I just learned how to do it instantly. And I made this talk. This vulnerability just happened. It was calling to me. No. How many times did you destroy your computer? How many times did you take down a network or a server or a country by toasters? It's like, how many times did that happen while you were trying to come up with all this information for you to give a talk? No one wants to talk about that because it makes us look stupid. I already feel stupid. I don't need to look stupid in front of everybody, though I'm pretty good at it, obviously, right? It's like, I don't need to. So I just want to talk about all the good things that I've done. I just want to give you all the perfect examples of how I am as a human being and nothing else. That's a problem I think a lot of people have, not just me. But I learned from Dave, it's like, no, we can give credit to other people that have helped us along the way. We can admit when we've made mistakes and when we've done things that have because it turns out you can also learn from your mistakes. Even better, learn from someone else's mistakes first. That's way better, okay? I always recommend that number one, okay? Learn from someone else's mistakes. If you have to, learn from your mistakes, but try to learn from them so you don't make that mistake. So that's one of the key things. Everyone makes mistakes, but some has no remorse or desire to correct them. When you see a breach go out there, when you see a vulnerability that happens, do you go on Twitter and go, oh yeah, that was horrible. Hopefully they learned. No, it's like, ha ha, breached. Mother, why weren't you using proper security? Oh, I knew you shouldn't have done it. Oh my God, of course they got breached. They're idiots. How does that help? Anyone. I mean, you may gain a couple more followers because they think you're witty because you tore down. I mean, it's easy to make fun of people, especially if you're Target or Sony. It's really easy. It's like, trust me. It's like, and I'm not trying to do that right now. I'm just saying as an example, those are valid examples. It's like, yeah, it's like, so you have to learn that when you make those mistakes, it's like you can't just cast it on other people and call them out and not expect your own to be called. And never judge someone more harshly than you'd like to be judged for your failings. And also, when you help someone that takes advantage of you, that's not on them, that's you. Meaning, what that means by that simply is you help someone, you've helped try to give someone out somewhere in the community, and then, a couple months later, something like that, they come back to you, not even giving you proper thanks for the first one, but they want some more help from you. It's like, is it your fault because you're stupid because you let them take advantage of you? No. That's on them. It's never on you. Your first reaction should always be to help others. It should always be to help someone. If they take advantage of it, that's never going to be on you. That's going to be on them. Now, my last community fail is an important one because it was going to be about how my first year at DefCamp. My first time at DefCamp was DefCon 12, and I was a total idiot. And trust me, it's a really hilarious story, but it's also been written down, so you can read it later about how stupid I was. I mean, I spray painted my hair blue, people. It was sad, okay? But something happened in September that totally overshadows it, and I think proves my point even more. My son loves airsoft. My son loved the whole concept of airsoft. He wanted to go shoot airsoft for his birthday. And I'm thinking, air, soft, they must shoot marshmallows. That'll be amazing. Sure, let's go do that. That's not what they do. You bleed if you're not properly protected. It's not a pleasant experience. It's sort of painful, actually. I mean, really, really bad. But that's how we were dressed. T-shirt and jeans. 11-year-old daughter had yoga pants on. Yeah, she regretted that. But we showed up there, ready to go. We were going to go shoot some airsoft, right? The team that we were playing, because I didn't even realize that I had no idea. I'm a noob to this. I had no idea what was going on, so I showed up this way. I thought we were going to fight each other. We're going to run around. There was another team. They were in full camo with body armor and helmets and masks. I thought they were raiding Mogadishu or something. I mean, what's up? That's what they were dressed like. And we went in and we challenged them and we fought them. My daughter got first kill, which was really cool. And then they started to spawn camp us. Because once you got shot, you had to go back to this room inside this abandoned building and you had to come back out of that door. And they were waiting there, these men in full armor with their custom guns, with flashlights and lasers attached onto them. It's serious business, I guess. And they'd wait there to shoot us. We weren't prepared. F us. So these grown men repeatedly shot an 11-year-old girl. She bled several times. So did everybody in the group. Because screw us. We were noobs. We didn't know what we were doing. That was okay. Because we were noobs. They repeatedly shot us as we were trying to come out the door to play a game that we thought we were interested in, that we'd never been to. But it was okay to do that because screw us, we were noobs. And doesn't that sound like our community? RTFM. Why can't you run Cali? Can't even Metasploit, bro. That's our community here. I literally, when the game was over, I went up to the tallest mother to him, and I didn't whine. I didn't complain. That was on us. We weren't prepared for it. But I went to him and I looked him in the face and I said, you know what? This is refreshing. Because usually, when I'm playing Call of Duty online, I don't get to see the sniveling 12-year-old that's spawn camping me. I got to see him this time. And you know what he said? absolutely nothing because he was a coward who thought he was fun to shoot an 11-year-old girl repeatedly. How many people have we burned out of this industry before they even started because we make them feel unwanted? We make them feel like they're stupid. They don't have a right to be part of our community because they don't know what they're doing yet. I have gone to, I love DefCamp. And I'm not saying it because I'm standing on their stage, I'm saying because it's a fact. There are conferences that I've been offered money to go back to that I will never go back to. Because they are not inviting. They are elitist and they feel like they're better than other people. And I'll never grace the presence of being even there for free. Because they have lousy attitudes. Relish the fact that you have a conference that embraces everybody, no matter what level they are, getting started or a guru. Because that's what it's about. It's about a community trying to work together with everybody, from starting out, from knowing what you're doing.
That's what this is supposed to be about. Don't burn out and rub people out just because they don't know how to run Metasploit or they don't know how to log into Kali. Because did everybody get born knowing how to do that? No. We're all in this together. We all have the same kind of passion. Look at those geeks. Are those a bunch of losers? They're all dressed up as Star Trek characters. Come on. They're better than a lot of hacking conferences I've been to because they're accepting everybody, no matter what timeline, no matter what, show they thought was the best or what character they thought they represent, they're accepted for who they are. That's what we do. I mean, are we judging people like, look at, he hardly has any stickers on his laptop. I don't know if he's a professional hacker. I don't like the way that guy's not even wearing a hoodie. There are people in here, don't be alarmed. If you look to the left and right of you, some people are wearing collared shirts and dress slacks. Hackers? Why not? Why do we have to dress it and do that to be accepted? It's like, so also, one of the things that most of these cons is learning. So make that part of it. It's not about showing up and just going to the parties or being cool. The least effective time I have at this conference is right now. Because all I'm doing is standing up and going blah, 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 blah to everybody. I'm getting nothing back out of it. I'm not having any conversations right now, except for with myself, which is always fun. It's like, I'm not doing anything. When I get off this stage, I get to talk and have conversations. I get to start learning. I get to learn new things at these conferences. People wonder why I travel so much. It's not because I'm here just to talk. It's because I'm seeing family. People I haven't met until I saw them from the last con. Because that's what this is. It's what it's supposed to be. It's like there are certain people that I live like one state away, and the only time I see them is in other countries. At a hacking con, which is awesome. It's like, I'm spending Thanksgiving, which is a family holiday in America, in China. I'm meeting a lot of good friends there. It's going to be great. And a lot less, hopefully, political arguments around the turkey table. So that's going to be great. That's what we need to start looking at this community as. It's like people are trying to learn. Yes, you're trying to make money. Yes, it's supposed to be productive. Yes, there's supposed to be business involved. But it can be civil business. And it doesn't detract from what you know to help someone else learn something new. Never forget that just like dentists, you're a valuable part of the society and well known. This is the most important thing that I've learned from this, is that people like to refer to me as a rock star. Okay? No. It's always uncomfortable when they say, because I know they mean it well. Well, some of the people are doing it because they know that it makes me feel bad and they're insulting me by it, okay? But most people try to say it as a compliment. I'm not a rock star. Not even close. I'm a dentist. Do you know the orthodontist who created Invisalign braces? I looked him up on Wikipedia. This guy is famous. He's a millionaire. He's written books. He goes to dentist conferences all around the world, and people come up to him and go like, oh, sir, I love to work in orthodontics and stuff. It's very good. Can I have a picture with you? It's like, would you sign your book, please? And you know what happens when he walks out of that dentist conference? He's a motherfucking dentist. He's a dentist. I care so little about him,
I didn't research what his name was again so I could tell you. I don't care. He's a dentist. It's on Wikipedia. Go look it up if you're interested. You're not. Everybody knows you're not going to look it up. You don't care what his name is either. Just like dentists, we try to tell people to practice good hygiene on the internet. Practice good oral hygiene to make sure your teeth are safe and secure. Oh, sometimes you have a cavity or a breach. Oh, that's going to cost you. It's going to be painful. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be invasive. You're not going to like it, but you need to do it. We need to patch up those holes. You need to patch up those cavities. You need to patch up that firewall. And what happens after that? It's like, everybody loves going to the dentist, right? Ever seen the CEO walk into your department going, hey guys, it's so great to see you. Haven't seen you since the last breach. How's everything going? How's the wife and kids? No. No one wants that. We're dentists of the internet. But we're important. Not as important as real dentists, because they're actually doing actual work that actually helps improve the lives of people. But we're there. Get over yourself. You're here to help. You're here to help others, okay? And there doesn't have to be an ego involved in it. This is the part where I would go and say, who wants to share one of their failures? But they told me that I'm way over time anyway, but I'm going to blame it on the other people in the bus. But, that's the way that goes. But we'll have one person, because I like running long, we'll have one person say, who wants to volunteer a fail that they've done? See? And that's the way it usually works. Oh, wait, we got one. Thank you. What's your fail? Hold on. Now I'm going to make them scramble for a mic so we can get them. Wait, hold on. We want to make sure everybody hears how horrible this was.
At some point, I actually published Amazon Web Service keys on GitHub.
Oh.
Yeah, I was that stupid.
A lot of people like that, though. You helped out a lot of people, I'm sure, on GitHub.
Not really. It took like an hour to say, I spawned 20 instances suddenly.
Oh, yeah. That's
Amazon actually wrote to me, and they were like, this seems unusual. Your account is usually like this. Now it's grown 20 times in 2 hours.
But you learned from that.
Are you sure? I felt extremely stupid. The Amazon support team was very helpful. And after that, I spent 2 days making sure that everything I had skipped on was best practice.
Very good.
Yeah, it was
You learned from that mistake.
But it was very painful, but I'd like to think useful, yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for that. Failures happen to every one of us. Everyone in this room could have stood up and said something. Not many people want to. But it happens. We've all failed. The key thing is to have learned from it. That's not a lie. Okay then, I'm done. Wait, there's still some more slides.